To the Point with Michael Williams.
The Mar-a-Lago controversy goes on. Good morning to you. A look back and ahead. Late last week, a local federal magistrate judge said, in essence, that the public, that all of us, should see the affidavit that details why FBI agents got a search warrant and took, among other things, 11 sets of classified documents from former President Donald Trump's home. The search ignited another political firestorm, as you well know, and the question remains how much of the affidavit will actually become before your eyes. Matt Sczensy was in court for us.
The clock now ticking to next Thursday, and that's when the Justice Department must show a federal judge in West Palm Beach what parts of that search warrant affidavit it wants kept secret. Judge Bruce Reinhart decided the government needs to reveal some parts of why the FBI searched Mar-a-Lago. Attorneys for big media companies taking on a Justice Department lawyer, the back and forth lasting 90 minutes. At stake, details the government would like to keep under wraps about why they did search Mar-a-Lago. A search warrant that centers on former President Trump allegedly taking top secret documents from the White House. Last week, the DOJ released possible charges, including violations of the Espionage Act. South Florida attorney Deanna Schulman was on the media side.
Judge Reinhart seemed to have a very good sense that it is his job as the gatekeeper in this case to perform his function of balancing the interest in the public of accessing these materials against the interest in the government in keeping them secret.
Media attorneys made the case that searching the home of a former president needs transparency. The Justice Department admitted the heightened public interest in this case, but is concerned about certain information, protecting the identities of federal agents, and the potential impact unsealing the document could have on witnesses.
I think Judge Reinhart is going to protect the identity of confidential informants, and that's probably the right outcome here. We don't want, none of the media interveners want to jeopardize the safety or security of a confidential informant. It is very common in these situations that information that would lead to the disclosure of their identity is kept secret.
The Justice Department in court had told the judge that redacting that lengthy affidavit would be cumbersome, but the judge did order the Justice Department until noon, August 25th, to get it all done. And then the judge gets to decide what gets released. Matt Sczensy, WPTV, News Channel 5.
I also talked late last week with Stuart Kaplan, a former FBI agent and now a locally based defense lawyer. He argues the entire affidavit should be released unredacted. Otherwise, he says innuendo and speculation go on.
This is unprecedented, meaning for the first time in modern history, a former sitting president was served with the most intrusive investigative tool, that being a search warrant. Given the divisiveness of the United States of America and given what is being put out there, and even though my conscience tells me that I disagree with disclosing it, if you are going to disclose it, let it all hang out. Don't give it half out. Give it all out. Let it speak for itself, and let's move forward.
Joined by our News Channel 5 political analyst, Brian Crowley. Talk about the firestorm and your assessment of what you heard last week and where we go from here.
Well, I was interesting listening to the idea that it's unprecedented. We've heard a lot about that, and in one sense it is unprecedented. But search warrants are served throughout the country, day in, day out, hundreds of them by the FBI, local law enforcement, state law enforcement. And I think one of the things that gets lost in the conversation is if former presidents are merely citizens. And one part of the founding of this country was that citizens are all treated equally under the law. And yes, it's unusual, it's unprecedented, but it's normal procedure for an investigative agency. So I think we need to kind of tamp it down a little bit. Being a former president is great, you get a lot of benefits, but as a citizen, it doesn't make you special.
And all of us are speaking from a point of view that is absent the knowledge of what's within the predicating documents. And it speaks a lot to our media and social media age that a lot of us don't really have a compass bearing on exactly what they're looking for. Now, that is the flip side argument. Show us. And that seems to be what the judge in part is saying, but nonetheless, that does exist.
Well, I mean, God help the FBI and the Justice Department if by the time they do have to show everything, which is not going to happen anytime soon. No. They'll show some of it in a week or so. But at whatever point they have to show everything, they better have the goods there, or there will be a rightful outrage at misconduct by the FBI and the Justice Department. But at this point, it's a normal investigative procedure.
Does it matter in today's world what goods you have? And no matter what side you are on a debate like this, we live in such a siloed age that people who are supporters of the former president, many of them say they'll be unswayed by anything they hear out of the FBI. Many who are not fans of the former president say precisely the opposite. Talk about the political dynamic as we sit here on the eve of primary season, as calls grow louder in Republican circles, some of them for him to go ahead and announce that he's going to run for president in 24. Such a fraught environment, and navigate that for us as best you can.
Well, it's fraught on both sides, and there's sadly a distinct lack of common sense in a lot of the arguments we hear, and it's and the proof that it's on both sides, I can guarantee you that had the FBI gone and searched former President Barack Obama's home, Democrats would be raising Cain. They would be talking about how the FBI is corrupt and how dare they do this to a former president. So I get that. I get that dimension of the emotion, but sometimes you just have to slow down and think about it. You know, people like to talk about the founders. Well, our first president talked a lot about we don't have kings. He was the one that said he wasn't going to run for a third term. You know, that there should be a limit on the presidency. He didn't see the presidency as royalty, and he knew firsthand how bad royalty could become. And we need to be careful that we're not turning former presidents into royalty.
Briefly, how much does this become a voting issue as we look on into this election season? How much does this change or reinforce or drive people one way or the other?
Well, I think it has the potential to keep Trump supporters active in the election. I think there's also some element of people being exhausted by all the drama that's taken place. You know, I still think that for most voters, it's inflation. It's how much does gas cost? How much does food cost at the grocery store? I think those are still the bigger issues right now.
We'll move on to another issue right now as we talk about voting, with the primary just ahead of us in a few days here. Other news just this past week, the Department of Justice said it agrees with those fighting Florida's new election law that it, among other things, discriminates against black voters. A direct swipe at Governor Ron DeSantis and the Republican-led Florida legislature that helped him craft that new election law. Todd Wilson reports.
In the last two legislative sessions, we've done more on election integrity than any state in the country.
Governor DeSantis is speaking to a group of folks at a press conference in Fort Lauderdale today. He made no mention of the U.S. Department of Justice fighting the state's appeal to reinstate Senate Bill 90. The DOJ filed Wednesday. In May of 2021, Governor DeSantis signed SB 90 into law. The bill restricts the availability of absentee ballot drop boxes, increases regulations for third-party voter registration groups, and bans providing food and water to people standing in line to vote. In the filing, it states Florida asserted interests in preventing voter fraud and restoring voter confidence.
You know, we've worked really hard on election integrity and election security. During the 2020 election cycle, people actually look back at Florida as having done an efficient and transparent election.
Ultimately, a federal judge struck down SB 90. It ruled the law violates Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the 15th and 14th Amendments of the Constitution. Patrick Franklin is with the Urban League of Palm Beach County. He says it's all a trick.
Look, it's hot down here in Florida, and to say that you cannot give someone a bottle of water that's standing in line waiting to vote, that's absurd.
The DOJ, along with the NAACP and League of Women Voters, claim Florida Republicans intentionally targeted black voters when they came up with this law. Franklin agrees.
This is another hurdle that we have to get over, but I applaud the DOJ for getting involved with this because we need their legal support in order to change these oppressive laws.
Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5.
Brian, back now. Political observers, Republicans argue, and I had one say to me, yeah, but we don't focus on things like tightening up, making sure you've got the proper voter ID and the like, and that those things are positives, and you can always improve on the law, and that the opponents of the changes tend to ignore things that many argue on the Republican side help tighten and validate voter security. Once again, an issue that as we head to primary day here on Tuesday, we can't agree on.
Well, I've been covering Florida elections since the 80s, so I've had some...
18 or?
1880, sure. So I've had a little bit of experience with this. You know, Ron DeSantis, as is common in statewide elections, barely won in 2018. He didn't say the election was rigged. He was happy with the results. He didn't think there was, you know, anything going on at the voting booths. He just said that in 2020 it was a near perfect election. There are nearly 12 million voters in Florida, registered voters. Well, congratulations, you found 20 felons that may have accidentally voted as opposed to deliberately voted, because the law concerning felons and voting is
just the other day.
So, and you ignored, I guess, the 11 or so people it was living in Central Florida, Republicans, who actually got fined and busted for fraudulent voting. So, oh goody, we captured 20 out of 12 million. I think we've saved democracy.
And on that note,
yes, I'm being sarcastic.
Yes, I've known you a long time.
We've got bigger problems. This is just a road show.
And in 2020, the governor himself acknowledged a very smooth election, and a bipartisan group of county election supervisors, 67 of them in all in Florida, when the law was being debated, said, we're already doing a good job. We don't need this. A bipartisan group, let me say that, Republican and Democratic.
Yeah, and you know, we passed a constitutional amendment overwhelmingly in this country encouraging felons to vote. The state legislature made it harder than the voters intended it to be. So, yeah, you fixed what's not broken.
All right, and I'll quit kidding you about 1880s. I'm really not very far behind you age-wise there. You just look like George Clooney, and I don't. Primary day just 2 days away. A look at one local school board race getting attention.